Hello, welcome back everybody. Hopefully you saw my last video. If you haven't, that's fine. Uh, this video should be a lot better quality anyways. I didn't expect my last video to get so many views, so I figured I'd put a lot more effort into this one, do some editing and whatnot, make sure you can't hear my mouse clicking the entire video. So anyways, got another replay for you guys. I'm playing on the map Coldfire. I'll be playing as Sami and my opponent's going to be playing as Sasha. Just by looking at the map, you can immediately see that there's 3 main checkpoints, separated by these 2 big lakes, which will play a massive role in how the game is played. As you can see, immediately battleships might be pretty good on this map. I might go for a battleship. I do like my battleships. Indirects are also going to be good here, as small checkpoints don't really allow for a lot of maneuverability. It's going to make it hard to flank and easier for the opponent to protect their indirects, so an indirect could be pretty annoying on this map. Battlecopters are also going to be pretty good, as these 2 lakes act as like a roadblock for anti-air. So if I have a battlecopter in this lower area, this opponent is going to obviously send an anti-air to counter it. But again, battlecopters have very good maneuverability and can fly over water, which anti-air cannot, so which then forces the anti-air to move up towards the middle. But again, I can just move my battlecopter back down. So again, battlecopters could be very annoying on this map, unless you could maybe get a fighter, but fighters are very expensive and it would not be worth it unless the opponent got multiple battlecopters, which again will probably happen, but still, it is noteworthy. So anyways, he's playing Sasha, like I said. I think Sasha's an okay pick, but on this map, not so much. She's better on larger maps with lots of properties. There's still a decent amount of properties on this map for her to take advantage of, but counting the properties that she's guaranteed to get, is about 17. So that's about 1,700 extra extra money per turn. Can't talk. $1,700 per turn. Maybe 1,900. She could get these 2 properties. I would say she's favored to get these 2 properties. Although I have played this map before, and I will say it's not guaranteed. So, yep. The extra income is good, but I think a good day-to-day power would be better on this map. Your superpower, it's not that useful on this map either. Again, it's not a huge map. We're not going to have like a huge battle. And with her superpower, you want these huge battles to be going on, so you can do lots of value and damage and get it back into your own reserves. Oh, I probably should explain what her superpower does, if anybody doesn't know. Basically, any damage she does, 50% of that value goes back into her money reserves. So again, you want to do a lot of damage during your superpower and target high value units. So anyways, I picked Sami, like I said. Pretty good on this map. Mechs are going to be really useful in these choke points, as it's going to make it a lot easier for them to zone out a lot of his units. Mechs are really good, especially Sami mechs. Their biggest weakness is maneuverability, but in these choke points, again, can't really maneuver around them. Sami's superpower is also pretty good on this map. I mean, it's always good, no matter what map you're playing on, but especially against Sasha, since she relies on her extra income from properties to cover her lack of day-to-day power. So, Sami's superpower pretty good. Although this map is pretty cramped, like I've said multiple times, so it is going to be harder for my infantry to sneak past and cap these properties. Again, even capping 2 properties could be very, very good. Now, Cobalt does start with 2 extra infantry and an extra property, which I will say I think that's a bit much. I think it puts the game in their favor a little too much, but if you do look at the stats of this map, Cobalt Ice wins about 52% of the time, which is the left side. And the default Amber Blaze, which is the right side, I changed it to Acid Rain because that's my favorite faction. I will say Acid Rain is the superior faction. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. I'm sorry, you're just wrong. But anyways, the right side of the map usually wins 48% of the time, which I would say is very even, so I guess maybe I'm wrong in that regard. But anyways, let's just get into the replay. So pretty basic, just building infantry, moving out. Sorry, I don't know what. Sorry about. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened to my replay. On my other replays, it's working fine, but on this replay, on the enemy turn, it just goes by instantly. Like I'm doing the one action, but it's just going through their whole turn. So it's annoying, but I feel like this was a pretty good replay. Well, but the best replay I could get, so I really wanted to cast this one. So anyways, pretty basic rollout, just building infantry, except you can see there is a pretty big difference immediately. I'm sending my, let's build some more, we'll go one more ahead. Yeah, so again, you can see I'm moving my infantry back, gonna cap this property and these two properties. And if you look at my opponent, they're immediately going straight forward. They're immediately going for these middle properties and going for a very aggressive recon. Now I will say my opponent again is playing very aggressive here, sending all infantry forward, building a super early recon. I would say he is playing Sasha, so having these properties a little late into the game won't hurt him as much since his front properties will make a bit more income. So I guess it might be worth it getting to the middle a little bit faster and having a bit more infantry. Or I guess he wouldn't be necessarily faster since he's top infantry will be moving forward, but he will have extra infantry, unlike me, who, since I'm moving some infantry backwards. So anyways, again, pretty basic, just building lots of infantry. I will say early recon's not as good when you're not playing Fog of War. Recon rely on their large maneuverability and being able to hide in forests to interrupt caps. So going early recon when there's no Fog of War, it's not as good because I see it coming. I compare a counterattack and a counter unit, which will be a tank. Tanks are very good against recons. Recons can basically do nothing against them, and tanks also have pretty good maneuverability like recons do. So anyways, sorry it skips through his turn, but as you see, he's just moving through, and he actually goes early artillery, really early artillery. This guy likes to play very offensively. Except, again, I don't really... It's not a bad move. He does have quite a bit of infantry out, so yeah, he will be able to make some caps. But, I should zoom out. Or not zoom in. There we go, so you can actually see our icons. Also, I totally forgot. I did this last time. I did not put my screen into full screen mode. I'm sure it was probably really annoying to watch. So anyways, full screen mode, there we go. As you see, I do have the income lead, but only by 500. About to cap these properties, so I should really start to increase the income lead. Anyways, let's just get going with the replay. Just moving my tank up, trying to counter this recon, get it out of this area. I really want to get this comm tower. Comm tower is going to be really important to capture. If he can deny this comm tower, that's going to be really bad for me. And he's also capturing his comm tower down here. So again, just moving up, finally building my first mechs. Mechs are going to be really good on this map. Sorry for skipping through, it's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, so as you can see, he's really putting off capturing these properties. He is going for these top ones, which is good. He probably wants to get this airport. Like I said, Balcop is going to be really good on this map. And like I said, he's going to be moving his recon back. He does not want this tank firing on it. And he does get to middle quite a bit faster than me actually, despite going second. Yeah, because I got the first turn. because I do have the initiative in this situation. So again, just moving my tank up, not really scared. This recon can't do anything, and this artillery can't really do anything now. So I figured get a free shot on the infantry, do some damage, and move my mech up. I do build an APC. APCs are really good on this map. Or I guess not this map, but really good with Sami because you want to spam one of these mechs. And mechs have really low movement, so getting these APCs to ferry them to the battlefield or conflict is going to be really helpful. Usually I'd maybe build another mech, but since he went early recon and artillery, I figured I really need to get a mech up here now. So I decided to go a little early APC than I usually would. So there we go, finally getting to middle and capping these properties. And figured, you know what, I decided to go for the interrupt. I think I definitely should have just captured this property, got the extra 1,000, especially since he's pretty much guaranteed to capture this property. I mean, I can interrupt it, but it's not really going to do much. And I'm also on a road. So not really good for me. First blunder of the match. So again, he does go another artillery and another recon. Recons are actually pretty good against Sami. Because you're going to be spamming out a lot of infantry. Recons are pretty good against infantry. Decent against mechs if they can get the first strike, but overall, pretty good. Except, again, can't really make a lot of use out of their maneuverability since there's a lot of checkpoints, but still really useful. It should not be understated. Even though there are checkpoints, high movement is still really helpful. And really good. So there we go, just moving my mech into the APC and trying to move it up. Trying to capture his comm tower before he can move in. Does a good job, uses infantry to block his artillery, so I'm forced to retreat with my tank. There we go. Also, I kind of missed this interaction, but as you can see, he took a fire at me. He fired at my infantry, but not really that good because I got the 30%, 30% increased attack on my infantry, so he actually takes quite a bit of damage, and he's on a road, so that infantry's just about dead. Again, just building some mechs. Should have built an APC for this bottom area, but I decided not to. Kind of hurts me because it takes me a long time to get down to this bottom area, which is definitely going to give him enough time to not only get his artillery into the area as well as capture all these properties. Come on, there we go. So again, just being annoying, taking a shot at his infantry, bring it down to 1 HP. Taking a shot with his injured one, bringing it down to 3 HP even. But again, he is on a road. There we go, retreating with my tank. Finally getting back to his back properties, but as you can see, we got a pretty good income lead. 11,000 to his 99, or not 99,000, 9,900. You can't really, well, I guess I haven't spent money yet, but we're pretty much identical in money spent into our army. 37,000 to 36,000. Sasha's extra 100 does come into play pretty often, or I guess very often every turn. But again, I think a day-to-day power would have been better on this map. So here I realized I can't really do anything with my tank. If I go back, he does a really good job here again, blocking his artillery, making sure I cannot get to it with my tank. Although I am happy I am able to get this comm tower. Finally able to get that 10% increase. So again, my infantry do now have a 40% firepower increase, which is really strong, especially on these mechs. Could not be understated how useful these mechs are going to be. So anyways, like I said, tank can't do anything, so I decided to move it down here where it's out of range of his artillery. Pretty good play, because look, as you can see now, I'm actually threatening both his artilleries. I mean, he does have a tank here, so it is protecting his artillery, but again, just being annoying. Giving me options pretty much on what I want to do. I can come up here and maybe attack this artillery if he's not careful. If I can't really do anything, I can either retreat back up here or down here, depending on if he moves his artillery. So, yep, just trying to widen my options, kind of being aggressive, and finally go for a counter artillery. Just trying to zone him out. Really want to make sure he does not cap this. Although I'm not really that scared since I have a mech and an infantry, and he only has one infantry. So as long as I can kill this infantry, there's nothing he can really do. So there we go. Kind of annoying that I had to build an artillery. I would have much rather built a mech. So as you see now, this APC kind of has to wait for next turn, since my mech will not have movement available. So again, just moving up. These two low HP infantry are duking it out right now on the road. Right here, I decided to go for this shot just because, but also I wanted to create like this defensive line. Because I see he has a recon here, and as you can see, this defensive line is stopping him from being able to go and inch up my cap. I think if I go back, yeah, as you can see, if I didn't move this infantry here, this recon would have been able to go in and inch up my cap, which I did not want. Especially since I actually don't have a mech in this area. I need to get something in this area to deal with this recon, or it's going to do a lot of damage. Actually, that was a lie. I totally forgot I had this tank here. Again, I think it would have been worth it to maybe interrupt the cap, but I do have this tank here, so you have to be careful with this recon and artillery. Okay, there we go. So go another tank. Sami's tanks do get 10% decrease in firepower, which shouldn't be scoffed at, but it should be considered. You want to rely more on these mechs, but tanks are still really good at Sami. Their high movement is just really helpful. Something that these mechs do not have. Oops, sorry. It really sucks that it's skipping through her moves. So anyways, he actually goes another artillery. He wants to get 3 artilleries in each of these checkpoints. Pretty good move. Like I said, artillery indirects me pretty good. He makes a decently good play here. He moves his 1 HP infantry to block my tank, leaving it stuck here pretty much. Except it's only 1 HP infantry, so I can easily shoot that down with one of my infantry in the area. I think he actually missed a big opportunity here. He could have just moved his recon, like he did here, and this tank would have been trapped. It would have easily died to this artillery and tank. It would have been a really good trade. I mean, he would have taken pretty good damage on this recon, but tanks are 3,000 more, $3,000 more dollars than recon, so that would have been a really good trade. Missed our opportunity there. I don't know why he moved his infantry. Maybe he just forgot he had a recon or something, and he didn't want me to get the first strike on the tank. I'm not sure. Either way, missed opportunity. Move my 2 HP infantry and take it out, and get my tank out of there. And also, finally getting a mech into this middle area. Yep, so there we go. Move my tank back and capture the city. Small blunder right here. I move my infantry up onto this road. What I was thinking is I want to block my tank. So I can see he can get the first strike on me, and I was like, I do not want that, so I moved my infantry up. But I shouldn't have done that because his artillery gets a free shot on my infantry. And even if he did move onto the road and fired on my tank, it doesn't matter, I have a mech here. I could get a really good trade, and I could just move my tank onto a property and get it healed up on the front lines, which would have been a really good trade for me. So I kind of just let him get a free shot on my infantry here. So small little blunder, but not a massive mistake. So here, just being annoying, go for the capture. Probably shouldn't have done that because, yeah, it's annoying, but it's a neutral property. Kind of, it's a contested property. Actually, it should be my property. These properties should be mine. I would say they're pretty favored for me to get. he has his properties down here. So yeah, going for middle straight away worked out pretty well for him. As you see, he does have the economic lead on me now, making 1,300 more than me. Except I will say I've been getting slightly better trades. As you can see, I haven't even spent any of my money. Got 13,000 in the bank, and we're pretty much even in amount of money spent into our armies. Our amount of money in our armies. So here we go. 3 mechs finally make it into this area. He really has to get this artillery into the area because these infantry are not going to be able to hold back these 3 mechs as well as this infantry. It's just not going to work out for him. He needs to be careful. If he loses his comm tower, he won't lose, but it's massively in my favor if I get this comm tower. Here, I think I went in a little early, a little too preemptively. I probably could have held off this infantry 1 turn less to let these mechs get in a bit more. But I decided to go for the really good trade, do a massive 8 damage, and only take 1. Really good. Just the power of Sami infantry. So again, just moving up my tank, getting another mech and another tank. Sorry that I skipped through. I don't know why, but he fired with his low HP infantry and gets it killed. Probably should have went with the higher HP ones first. Good positioning on his part though. Mechs aren't in range to counterattack. Like I said, should have held back a little longer. So anyways, he's finally getting these back properties. Still needs to get these 2. A little later than me. I just need this one last property in this naval yard until I get all of my pretty much guaranteed properties. I forgot to... Anyways, I moved up this artillery very stupidly. I forgot to cover that. Yeah, I moved up this artillery. A really bad play on my part. I kind of wanted to just zone him out. I didn't want him to move up his artillery into a better position like this forest or this city. But I kind of underestimated just how much damage infantry and a recon can do to artillery on a road. Really bad play on my part. So let's just skip through this area that I've already talked about. Yeah, so again, really bad play. Take 7 damage. Artillery kind of useless right now, but I surprisingly find a decently good use for it later on. And again, like I said, shouldn't have moved this infantry. It gets a lot of damage. I'm not going to be able to cap the property, especially with this new recon coming in. Going pretty heavy into the recons. You got 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty sure he goes quite a few more related to the game. Alright, so what else? Yeah, he also got a preemptive anti-air. Really good on him, seeing that I've capped my airport and will probably go battlecopter next turn. Anti-air also pretty good against Sami because anti-air do massive damage to infantry. So even if I don't go battlecopter, it's still going to be super useful. He also goes another tank. And you can just see the units are building. I'm not sure what to feel about these roads. These roads make it really hard to push. It's kind of like a World War I kind of situation. I mean, kind of exactly like that. I got the cool little World War I helmets right here. Yeah, so anyways, these roads make it really scary to push, really. I don't want to take these fights on the roads. It's going to be really bad for me, especially since he does have this artillery here, which is covering a lot of the road. So anyways, moving up my mech, getting a really good trade on his recon, and also getting a really good trade on his infantry. Like, look at that, 40% increase, or 40% firepower increase. Does huge damage to infantry. So anyways, I figured I'm not going to be doing anything in this middle part. Move my tank down, get a free shot on this infantry. Not really scared because now I'm also threatening this artillery. And if I need to, I can just bring it back up into middle quite easily. Oops. Again, just move up my mechs. trying to capture these properties, threaten them, do whatever I can to get an advantage. By this point, I probably should have gone another APC. I mean, one's good. I can also get a transport copter, but I think APCs are good enough on this map. Well, actually, maybe transport copter would be pretty useful because there's no roads down here. Again, either way, I should get a transport and help transport mix down into this area. So there we go. Even though it goes anti-air, I still go battlecopter because, like I said, these lakes are going to be super annoying. These copters can just fly over. It's going to be really annoying for these anti-air to catch them. Unless he goes fighter, but fighters are super expensive. 20,000 to 9,000 for a battlecopter. So anyways, he's pretty passive on his turn. He doesn't really do anything. He just retreats. He does pretty good formation here. Moves artillery onto his property and uses infantry to block. And also brings up his anti-air into the slower area. Again, doesn't do anything in this middle area. He's scared of these tanks. He's going to have to take the engagement on the roads, and I have a mech with our artillery coming. Did he do anything in this top area? Oh, he got this recon killed and moved back this infantry. Gonna call it. Yes, he did what, 1 damage to my infantry? Yeah, or 2 damage to my infantry. Yep, so there we go. Just trying to get more presence up in this area. As you see, there's not a huge fight going up on here. Got two mechs. We both should really secure this area. I haven't talked about it, but you know, these HQs, not super close to the enemy, but decently close. You want to make sure you protect your HQ, especially since I'm playing a Sami. I can instantly capture that if I get. Yeah, I think can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I need to get infantry getting infantry in this area. If I had my superpower, I'd be able to instantly capture this HQ, assuming there was no units in the way. But again, gotta be careful of that. So there we go. Just moving up. There we go. That's my use for my artillery. I use it to block my 2 mechs. He can't attack my artillery, but he's gonna take a really bad trade on the road from my mechs. I built in infantry because I don't think I had the money to build anything else, and I figured infantry are always useful, especially as Sami. You want to try to keep them alive for your superpower. So there we go. Move my battlecopter. I know there's an anti-air right here, but what I'm thinking is if I move it like into this area, he's gonna realize that I'm going to send it to this middle area, and he's gonna readjust and maybe go right here. So I instead send it over here, where I can then just go up up here. So just kind of playing some mind games, make him send his anti-air to the wrong position. And finally getting my last guaranteed, or I guess not last, one of my last properties. I can still get this airport. But I'm going to put that off for a pretty long time, as will he. So there we go, just moved up my mechs. Make sure that I'm keeping on range of this artillery. This anti-air is in range, but again, I got mechs to cover. If he goes for the attack, he's going to take a really bad trade from these mechs and this tank. So anyways, realized I can't really do anything. I figured, you know, I'll just move into the middle, widen my options, because again, even though I moved it away, it's still perfectly capable of attacking these units if I need to, as well as attacking any units in this middle area. So there we go, now it's his turn. And as you can see, he has a pretty good income lead on me, 14,000 to 16,000. Really good on his part to capture these properties and this property, which this property should be mine. So really good on him. He plays pretty well in the beginning of the game. Yeah, so anyways, he for some reason goes for attack with one of these infantry. Definitely big blunder here. Yeah, he gets a pretty good trade, but now he's leaving his artillery open for attack. Yeah, he has a tank here, but as you can see, I'm going to exploit this turn in a second. So anyways, he goes missiles. I couldn't think of the word missiles. Missiles could be really good on this map. As you can see, there is a standstill in the middle. Neither of us want to attack. Putting a missile here is going to threaten all of this. It's going to force me to either attack or pull back. Yeah, so I'd say that's a pretty good play on him. Kind of scares me. But anyways, actually I should. Yeah, so he's finally getting this last one. I don't think he really did anything yet. I think he just built some recons and moved them up north. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. So anyways, move up my mech, get a free kill, and as you can see, I left my tank in the area, and move it in, attack the anti-air, get a really good trade, do 6 damage, move this mech, kill this infantry, which allows my now battlecopter to attack his artillery. I wasn't planning on moving it towards anti-air, but I pretty much eliminated the anti-air threat, so I decided to go in for a really good trade. Boom, get the 5 HP damage. He has his tank, but again, doesn't matter. I got these mechs in the area. If he tries to go in, I'm going to get a really good trade on the road. Unless he moves his artillery, which he might. I think he does. Either way, I'm going to get a really good trade. Pretty bad play on his part. So I'll finally get an artillery and moving it downwards. He should probably feel really scared right now. As you can see, I'm about to cap these 2 properties as well as his comm tower. He really needs to stop me from capping his comm tower if he wants to win the game. Yep, so there we go. Finally going transport copter. Figured, it's 12 turns in the game. I should get this airport. Having some battle copters up in this area would be very useful. And I can also use it to transport this mech up into the middle while I'm at it. And maybe pick up like this infantry. Can't remember what exactly I did. I'm pretty sure I did something around those those lines. So what did I do? Okay, yeah. So I just moved this infantry up and got like 1 damage on their artillery. I thought I was gonna do more, but whatever. So again, putting him in a tricky little situation here. I move my mech up and start capturing this property. So he can either take a shot at my mech and stop me from capping, or he can, or if he does that, I can just move my artillery and get a really good trade with my mech, or he can pull back and let me cap this property. So putting him in a tricky situation here by using this artillery to block his recon. Or, yeah, his recon can. Nope. He could move his tank in, but again, he'd have to move his artillery. So there we go. Finally moved my artillery into a better position, covering all the roads here. Just making a few small moves, nothing major. Yeah, so there we go. He moves back his artillery to get it healed. I would say pretty good play. I mean, 6 HP is a lot better than 4. It could actually do some damage, and it's still in range of the fight. Or not that far from the fight. As you can see, just 1 turn and it's going to be able to zone out my battlecopter again. And he goes another anti-air, which he should definitely do. So here we go, taking a really good trade on this tank, taking out this artillery, and just moving up my mechs again, as well as my artillery. Yep, so there we go, I'll load up the mech and onto the transport. And my infantry. Starting to get a little late into the game, we're starting to get our superpowers. I don't think he ever uses his little power market crash, which basically just stops me from getting my power. I wouldn't really say it's that useful in PvP. You should probably go for war bonds, which I think is a bit better than her small power in most situations. So here I make a pretty bad A really big mistake. I want to say really big mistake, but I could have made a better play. I take a shot on the artillery, which is fine. Whatever, just kind of getting a little damage in. But what I do here is that instead of going for artillery, I actually go for the recon. Really dumb watching this back. That was a really stupid play on my part. What I was thinking is if I can take out these recons, I can secure this area, but he has 2 recons with a third one coming in. There's no way I'm going to kill all these recons with this one mech. I should have just went for the really good trade and got the artillery while it's on the road and in the area. Really bad play on my part. I should have just gone for the artillery, like I said. Yep, so there we go, his turn. Gonna have to skip through it, sorry about that. He makes a valiant push right here. He does really good damage to my battlecopter, but I feel like I've gotten more than enough value out of this battlecopter. I'm kind of okay with him getting this damage. Also, he moves up his artillery. Again, really good spot. So not only protected by his artillery, but by his infantry, recon, and his infantry, as well as these 2 tanks. And it's threatening my pretty much the bulk of my army right here, my 2 tanks and an infantry, forcing me to move back. And he's also going to soon get his superpower, which again, not really that useful on this map. I don't think he really got much value out of it. But still, it is a superpower. You need to use all the tools you have in your tool belt if you want to win. So if you notice, I actually have 35,000 in the bank. And if you saw my last video, you know I like my battleships. Maybe not as good as artillery, but, well, actually I would say this is a pretty good play. Since we're not in fog of war, missiles aren't going to be as good against battleships since I know his missiles range at all times. So having 1 extra range could be really helpful in dislodging this missile, as well as just zoning out just these 2 entire areas. It's going to be super annoying. I'm going to expect him to soon go some sort of air to try to encounter this, especially since he does not have a naval, he hasn't captured this naval yard. So there we go, finally moving back my artillery, just kind of blocking this battleship for no apparent reason, just kind of moving back my artillery. Here, finally, I realize, I'm not going to take out these recons, all these recons and these infantry, so I go for the artillery. Do really good damage. As you can see, like, yeah, I may be at 5 HP, but 40% firepower increase, I'm still going to do a lot of damage to bring it down to 3 HP. Definitely should have moved this artillery out of the area. So anyways, just repelling his bottom attack with my mechs. Like I said, if he moved in, my mechs were just going to tear him to pieces. There we go. Moving up. Taking on his what else did he have in there? Oh, an infantry. Can't remember what else. An infantry, a tank, and an anti-air. So that's a 1,000 plus 8,000, $16,000 he just lost in units there. So there we go, just moving in and using my low HP battlecopter to protect this low HP, or not low HP, high HP mech. I figured this mech's not going to capture the property, so I'd rather protect the high HP mech on the road. This mech is going to be really useful in counterattacking if he decides to stay here or attack. Also, it is noted where he did finally get his superpower. I think he used it on the next turn here, which is a little annoying because my battleship is kind of out of place. He's going to use his superpower, and I'm going to have to move in my battleship after he goes in for the attack. Yeah, so here we go. I'm scared of this missile. Don't want to take any unnecessary damage. Move back my tanks. Move back this mech, and use the infantry to kind of just protect it a little bit. Also move down this tank. Figured he has a superpower and a missile. I figured he's about to push through. Move this tank down. just a few turns, or not a few turns, a few spaces, because I figured I'm not really sure if he's gonna attack, and he does have a pretty big force coming in. I might need this tank up here, so I just move it down a little bit. Again, just opening up my options. If I need it to go top, it can. If it needs to go bottom, it can. That's why I like to. What's the word? Uh, God, I can't think of the word. The word. I'm sorry. Just keep my options open, pretty much. I think a lot of people should play like this. Just keep your options open. You don't know what's gonna happen. Just make sure you can try and cover as much as you can. And it is noteworthy. I'm also about to get my superpower. Superpower could be pretty useful on this map, um, especially against Sasha. Even if I can capture a few properties, um, it's going to be really good for me, taking away that extra little bonus she gets. So anyways, her turn. Boom, superpower. She goes in really hard here. I don't think she should have done this. I'm pretty sure this is like the game losing turn for her. She does a lot of damage. Yeah, she spent what, 9,000, and she still has 11,000 in the bank. She had 24,000 in her reserves, and then okay, you know, we're just gonna run that. Anyways, yeah, she's treating this superpower like it's a max blast or like a samurai spirit. You don't really want to charge in. I mean, yeah, you want to try and take out high value or a lot of targets to get your value in. But again, it's not really going to do that much damage. Yeah, she took out a mech, did pretty good damage to her artillery, but that's not that much. That's what, $3,000, $10,000, which is significant. But she's going to lose a lot more in this upcoming counterattack. As well as I also have this battleship, so even if this counterattack wasn't that efficient, or like I didn't do that much damage, I'd move in this battleship and I would easily bog down her attack, especially since she's fighting on my side of the map. This map's not that big, but it is still noteworthy that she's fighting on my side of the map. Since she's fighting on my side of the map, uh, my barracks are closer to the battle, and I can reinforce the conflict a lot easier, react to what she's sending in and what I need at the moment. Whereas hers are going to be a bit more delayed. Like if I, well, hypothetically speaking, if I had this airport up here, built a copter, it would be into the battle in about 2 turns. She would have to react to that and build an anti-air. And assuming she doesn't move this into the center, it would take about 1, 2, 3 turns. 1 turn is all you need in this game. Battlecopter can get really good value in that 1 turn. So anyways, I'm kind of rambling. Hopefully that made sense to everybody. Make a really bad trade here. Should have not have done that. I don't know why I did that. Thinking back, still have no idea why I did that. I just kind of... Actually, you know what? Now I remember. I was saying that I almost had my superpower. I figured I want to try to get my superpower and attack. What is it? 27,000? Yeah, but I realized you only get your superpower if your unit dies. Yeah, so I go do the damage still at 27,000. Or actually, I'm stupid. Am I stupid? 64,550. Take the damage. Okay, never mind. I'm not stupid. God, I have a brain fart. Yeah, so anyways, I go run for the attack. I know it's a bad trade, but I'm trying to get my superpower. If I get my superpower, these mechs and infantry are going to do a lot of damage. I can instant cap all 3 of these properties. This infantry, and this mech could do a lot of damage to these tanks. Or I guess this mech could do damage to the tanks. These infantry, not so much, but these 2 infantry could easily bite the dust if I got my superpower. Yeah, they're infantry, but again, you still want to keep them alive. Blocking them is being able to block units is very valuable. So anyways, just kind of moving up, again, just blocking off his anti-air from going into this area and stopping me from capping the properties. So there we go, moving up my battleship. Look, it's in range of his missiles, but his missiles is not in range of my battleship. It did go battlecopter though, I did see that. He also moved up his recon. I'm not sure why, but I decided, I got good amount of troops and this battleship in the area. I'm just gonna go in and take the good trade with my tank, as well as mechs that I'm gonna soon send in. I actually don't put into the APC because I'm like, this AP is low on fuel and I want to refuel it. And I'm also getting my superpower, so once I pop that, this thing's gonna get a massive amount of movement, and we'll be able to reach the front lines. I don't have much presence in this area, so I'm like, what, I'm gonna put off taking this airport and move this infantry up into this top area. Again, really don't want to lose his comm tower. If I can secure these 2 comm towers, it's pretty much game over for him. So anyways, I've been kind of building up the hype about this counterattack. So anyways, let's finally get into it. I was kind of putting that off because even though right now I'm talking pretty confidently about it, at the time I was really scared. When he pushed in, I was like, oh crap, it's just the end of the game for me. But slowed down, I realized what I could do and try to make the best play I could. So going for the recon doesn't seem like a worthwhile investment to use my tank on, but it does clear up the area where I can use my mech and get a really good trade on his tank. There. Did what, 5 damage? Pretty good damage. Here we go, moving on my infantry, doing some damage to his other infantry. Can't talk. And again, just taking hits on these tanks. Alright, that actually wasn't a very good super attack. Very good counter attack. I kind of built it up a little more. I remember it being a lot better, but again, there's not much he can do here. I mean, he can take a good shot at my tank, but it is out of range of his missiles. He can shoot his missiles, but with his battleship in the area, he's not going to be able to do much. And with me, then now that I have my superpower, I'm going to be able to do a lot of damage. Did skip through his turn. Sorry about that. Yeah, so he kind of missed, or I can't tell what exactly he did. Let's go back real quick. 1 HP. So yeah, so this is at 9 HP. And then it's at 7. What did he fire at? Oh, so probably this tank. So they probably like move through here or something? Probably, okay. Yeah, it's really annoying that it just skips through, or no. Okay, I don't know what happened, but anyways, he takes down this tank. He doesn't fire at this tank for some reason. I didn't mention it earlier, but again, he's kind of in a tricky situation here. He should have moved back his missiles just 1 more. He does not want to take a shot from this battleship. It's going to do a lot of damage if he does. If it does. So anyways, my turn. Instantly going to activate my victory march. Instantly capping this naval yard and the comm tower and his city. So as we can go back. Again, he does have a slight economic lead since he's Sasha. But as you can see, once I activate my super and capture these properties, 19,000 to 16,500. So even capping like 2 or 3 properties is huge, especially if they're properties that should be in your enemy's control. So there we go, just take a nice trade on the anti-air using my artillery. Here, take a really good trade with my mech. These mechs can do crazy amounts of damage. How much exactly is it? Yeah, up to 70% plus the 20, which is a 90% firepower increase. These mechs are super powered right now. So let's just skip through what we've already been through. Yeah, so I built tanks on the last turn. I could have gone mechs, but mechs, again, really bad movement. The biggest weakness by far. So I go tanks because they can get into the fight a lot easier. So as you see, his attack's getting really bogged down. He has no more mechanized units, really. And I have these 3 tanks that are going to move in next turn. He does have these indirects, but again, you need support. They do need support to help protect them so they can do the damage they need to do. So there we go. Just move on my tank, make sure he cannot get this comm tower. Yeah. Also, I forgot to tell. You probably saw, but he actually did go bomber here. Bomber, not. I'm gonna say it's a bad play on his part. He's probably wanting it for this battleship, which is understandable, but he has a battlecopter and a bomber, so I'm just gonna go fighter. I mean, even if he didn't have this battlecopter, I'd still go fighter because the fact that the bomber is $2,000 more than the fighter, uh, even if I lose my fight, okay, I cannot put this into words right now. I'm so sorry. What I'm saying is, I don't think bomber is very good in 1v1s. Since it's more expensive than a fighter, I have no problem going with fighter, even though it's expensive. Because if I can take down his bomber, which I 90% of the time will, I want to say 90% of the time. But again, it's really hard to use bomber in 1v1 maps. Bombers have such huge range of movement. It's hard to outdo that, even if you have a missiles or anti-air. It's really hard to protect them as well as get value with your bombers, especially since he has, and of course he has battlecopters. So I do get another use for my fighter. It's going to be really hard for him to zone out my fighter unless he gets a fire of his own. But again, that's another 20,000, which he should not want to invest in since he only has 16,000 to my 19,000. So again, really long rant there, but he should have not gone bomber in this situation. He should have. Sorry, just had a burp there. Definitely should have gone tanks, something to support these indirects. He definitely should have retreated here. There's nothing wrong with retreating. I mean, especially if you're in your opponent's territory. You don't want to stay there unless you're capping properties. Yes, anyways, there we go. Get a really good trade. Just look at that. The max 7 HP does 8 damage while he's on a city. Yep, so I figured I'd get a really good trade there, so I'll use my battleship to fire on the artillery instead. Finish that artillery so it can't be annoying and do 1 damage to my battleship again. Yep, so there we go. Sorry, it kind of skips his turn, but he finally retreats his missile. Kind of a little too late. I mean, good for him to put on the city so it can get healed up a little bit. Again, he's moving up his fire in his battlecopter, but again, I got a fighter. It's not, these 2 air units are really going to do anything, and he decides to go missile. Which, again, I'm going to say 1v1's missile's pretty bad. I mean, even in team, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think missiles are probably the worst unit in the game. One of the worst units in the game. They have pretty good range, but when you're going against air units, which have really good maneuverability, it's really hard to zone them out. I mean, there's no way I'm going to accidentally go into this area. And not only that, but it's really hard to not only protect your air units, but also getting your air units to attack and get value. Because you see, there's very few squares that his air units can go in to have complete safety. Yeah. And not only that, I think he also built in the wrong barracks here. Missiles travel on tires, so it's only going to go 1, 2, or it's only going to 1 space per turn, so it's going to take him 1, 2, 3, about 4 turns to get into the middle. If you built it over here, it would have. Or I don't know how many movement does a missile have on a road. We're gonna say, for the sake of conversation, it's gonna take 2 turns if we built it down here. So, anyways, he should have built it down here where it's next to the road, to make it simple. Yeah. So, anyways, move up my fighter and moving back my battleship. Yeah. If I kept it in the same spot, he would have been able to get some actually decent value out of the bomber. Yep, so there we go. Just being annoying, going in for a little attack, killing his 1 HP tank. And one thing that I have not said yet is, since I put off using my superpower, it kind of staggered, which is really annoying. I did huge amounts of damage, so now he almost has his superpower again. And I am at 0 since when he used his, I pretty much already had it, so I didn't really get much power increase from it. That didn't really make sense, but you know, hopefully you kind of understood what I was saying. Yeah, so it's just moving in here, really just cleaning up this center area. At this point, he probably should have just resigned. I mean, I wouldn't have blamed him for resigning here. It's not going his way. I mean, he is going to get a superpower, but just for like you saw from his last superpower, it's not really going to do anything. Especially if he can't really do any damage. I mean, maybe he can get a little bit of damage out of his battlecopter. Definitely not going to get any damage out of this tank, because I'm definitely going first for that bomber if I can. Yeah, so go getting another battlecopter. Finally going to reinforce this area. As you can see, these mechs are really good. Like, I built these mechs at the beginning of the game, and they're still alive, getting massive amounts of just value here. They are low on HP, but they're still very useful. Yep, so there we go. Just moving them back, making this defensive wall, making it annoying for his anti-air to do anything with his artillery here. Also moving back my tank. I don't want him to get any value of this bomber, so I move the tank back. I know he has infantry right here, but again, got a battleship. It's going to stop him from capping this comm tower. Sorry that it skips over, but yeah, so anyways, he moves in his battlecopter, gets some decent value out of this battlecopter, does some decent damage, does 3 damage to my battleship. Not too much though, not that bad. And again, he moves his bomber downwards, which I was kind of surprised by, but not super surprised by since there's nothing really for it to do. I would say this was a blunder on his part. Yeah. So, anyways, he does go medium tank, which again definitely should not have done. I have a battleship. Battleships are like the perfect unit against medium medium tanks, given there's water and land. Yeah, I definitely should have start investing in units that could have some presence in middle. Also, he really needs to. He either needs to push me back in the bottom part or push me back in the top part and re-secure one of these top comm towers. If he wants to win the game, he really needs to get one of his comm towers back. It's looking pretty bad for him, but as you can see, he's actually still has $95,000 into his army right now, compared to my $97,000. Sasha, I mean, I did say she wasn't a very good pick on this map, but as you see, her powers are still pretty useful. Having that extra income, somewhat still keeping him in the game right now. It's pretty much over. I will say he does put up a pretty good, a decently good fight. Better than I was expecting. I was really expecting to crumble right here and just give up, but he continues to fight, which is a little annoying, but whatever. Yeah, so anyways, why I said this was a blunder was because now I can move up my fighter and kill his battlecopter for pretty much free. Now I can just move up my battleship and get it healed, where it's still protecting this comm tower. And it doesn't matter that he moved his bomber down. Fighter's got huge range. It's still covering this middle area, even though I moved it kind of up top. He does have his missiles, but again, not really covering much. And if he wants to get value with this bomber, he's going to have to move it out of its range, which he does not want to do. So there we go, finally getting this airport. He's going for this one, but I figured, I'm going to go for this one if he goes for that one. If you do it, I'm going to do it too. So there we go, just kind of lower my mechs. So I'm just going to go pretty fast through this last part. After pushing him back through middle, it was really just a slow downturn. I mean, finally kill that bomber for free. He doesn't keep it in range of his missiles, which is a really bad play on his part. Yeah, so there we go. Finally moving up my battleship. I need it for the medium tank. Blocking off his transport copter. Figured he's probably going for HQ grip, which wouldn't have worked, but I figured these units aren't doing anything. Might as well just block the transport copter. There we go. Just moving back my tanks. Don't want his medium tank to get any value. And this madman, he actually goes another bomber. I would say really bad play on his part. My fighter's still alive. It's just gonna hunt down this bomber. This fighter gets huge amounts of value. Probably one of the best fighter I've ever had, really. Yep, so again, just moving up this fighter. Like I said, missiles, pretty bad unit. I can just move right past him. I'm in its range. There's nothing he can really do about it. And as you can see, this bomber, it is stuck there. It cannot go anywhere. It's not going to do anything. So just kind of skip through. He moves it down, finally into range of his missile, but, I don't care. This fighter, killed 2 bombers and a helicopter, so 44,000, so $51,000 it killed. 20,000 for 51,000. Huge trade there. Yep, so there we go. Just pushing in, taking a shot on his medium tank. Again, he left his medium tank in range of my battleship, which is a really big misplay. He also gets his superpower again. Yeah, so at this point, he really should have resigned. As you can see, I have 157,000 in my army. He has 46,000, and I have my super with this magnet right next to his HQ. Yep, so there we go. Move this mech into range of his HQ. He activated his super, but again, he doesn't really get any value out of it. Just absolutely just pushing through here. Now, I will say this is probably the biggest disappointment in my entire Advanced Wars career right here. I activate my victory march. Got this mech right in range of his HQ. Get instantly cap it right now. I select the mech, move it onto the HQ, and then I realize I didn't select the mech. I got the transport copter. Yep. So again, mistake on my part. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna win the game anyways. But knowing that I could have finished it a few turns earlier. And this madman, again, he goes bomber again. I mean, I know he killed my fighter, but it didn't work out last time. Sometimes you gotta mix it up. You gotta change. You gotta adapt to your opponent. If your bombers aren't working out, just stop going for them. Try something else. Go pipe runner because, BM. Why not? Yeah, so after this turn, I really thought he was gonna surrender. Like, he just has absolutely nothing. And he actually makes a move. Was very surprised. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna beat him into submission, I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna take this loss because I'm impatient. Yep, but anyways, I think this is where he finally decides to resign. Yeah, so he resigns here. yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It should be a lot higher quality than the last one. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.